From Gail's Bookish Things. How are you today? Happy July 3rd, almost to the 4th. And we are getting ready to have a day off tomorrow and enjoy some family time. But while I have a minute, I'm working on my nature album, which is bird and butterfly themed. And I wanted to show you this waxed linen thread. I had shown it on a video earlier of some stuff I got for a present from an Amazon card I received as a gift. So I'm trying this out. Sewing the signatures in with the waxed linen thread. And so far I have to say I really do like it. It's, as the name implies and tells us, it's waxed. So it bends, it holds its shape. Typically I use embroidery floss, but I wanted to try this. I think it's a thing that bookmakers use, that people that like make handcrafted books, not just junk journals, but an actual book with a woven binding and everything. Anyway, I wanted to try that to see how it would work for a junk journal, and I'm really liking it. It's got a tight feel to it. This is the second one. I had a little trouble getting this one through, but I do when I use embroidery floss as well. But basically, and you can see the one here, I've left them a little long because I'm thinking of tying on a little charm or bead on each end. And if I decide not to do that, I'll trim them down and knot it off later. I've got 2 of them in, and I think what is really nice about this is once you have started your pamphlet stitch, you have it through, you're knotting it, it doesn't slide like embroidery floss. I feel like that you can pull through and it'll loosen up real easily, and then you have to keep tightening it and finagling those threads through the holes to get a nice firm snap to your stitch so that it's firm in the cover. This seems like once you get it through and you pull it taut, it stays in place a lot easier. The wax kind of holds it. So I'm liking that. I think it might be a good thing to use more often. What I'm going to do on this one though is when I'm done, I'm going to cover it with this, I guess, I don't know, you call it a ruffle or a lace or something, but it's fabric that's kind of ironed, or however they steam that to hold the shape. That will be covering this. But I did want to show you a little look beforehand, and then I will come back later when I have the 3rd signature put in and you can see how that works all together. But so far I think the wax linen thread is going to be good. If you make a lot of junk journals and you're using embroidery floss, I would suggest you try this. I've kind of just been making books as a hobby. I don't have a big business with it by any stretch of the imagination, just a few commission jobs that I've done. But if you make them all the time, this might really be a good investment for you, a good tool, because how it grips the pages and holds them tightly. So I'll be back in a minute when I've got the 3rd signature in and show you how I'm going to attach the fabricy trim to the spine. A lot of times I like to let it show. This time I'm going to conceal it with this to just give a different look and play around with ideas. So we'll be back in a bit. I'm back. I just finished tying off the 1st and the 3rd signatures. I decided to go ahead and do a bow and then kind of knot that bow up. And it feels really secure, so that's going to be a really good thing about this kind of thread. I left this one long, the center wax thread pieces, because I do think I want to tie on a little bead there or some kind of charm. And then in the 3rd one I went ahead and just had to knot it because I really had a hard time getting this one through. So the waxed linen thread does hold, it doesn't slide, but when you're trying to get in that last signature and you're needing to kind of work around and wiggle it and just kind of get it through that last opening, it was hard to loosen up the top and the bottom one to make it glide easier, open up easier, so I could get it through and then tighten it back up. If you've put these in, you'll know what I mean, I think. But I do like it. I do like the secure feel, that it's non-slip, and I think that that will really hold up well in a junk journal that's going to be used a lot. It won't break so easily like you think maybe embroidery floss might with a lot of use, at least with the cheaper quality ones I have purchased in the past. But that I think is going to serve me well. So there's the book. I think it looks cool. Now I'm going to add this on there and we'll see how that looks, and I'll be back as soon as I have that step done. Now that I've got the attaching string off, this was a 50-cent purchase at Hobby Lobby, normally $4.99, so it does pay to go look in the back of the store at the clearance sections. I have kind of tried to teach myself to take a look. You don't have to buy everything just because it's on sale, because then I end up not saving money because I'm spending too much on stuff that I think I might use that I really don't need. I have plenty of supplies, but this one seemed like it would be fun to try, and for 50 cents I didn't feel like I was putting out a whole lot of money that I would regret having spent if I didn't use it. So before I glue this on, I'm going to show you my plan here. It's hard to hold the book and do the lace. You can see how it's got a basting stitch down the center, and that holds the fold in the fabric here. So I'll either do one and it'll look like that, or I might do two side by side. I'm going to play around with that a little bit, but I did want to show you what that looks like as it's unrolled. And the cute little thing about this is it's on a wooden spool, so that could be used later for something, who knows what, but I like the wooden spools. They remind me of my mom and my grandma and my aunt way back in the early days of my life when they had sewing stuff around. They had wooden spool thread, so that kind of brings back memories. Anyway, I think I'll probably just do the single one and glue it down, but I'll play around with it and show you again when I've had that glued down. And see here, I've actually placed my book in this bin that I use for miscellaneous stuff I'm holding for my books, but that's kind of holding it for me. So I used this glue, permanent adhesive, and it says here it works for fabrics, lace, glass, leather, woods, and trims, and I saw that recommended from another YouTuber, and I thought I would try it for gluing fabric, and it seems like it's holding this down well. I just placed a thin layer across, well, not thin, kind of medium, I guess, and I went all the way across, and then I spread it, and then I've just pressed this down into place, and when it's all dry I will go ahead and trim up this end, and I think that looks good. I kind of like that playful, less formal look, maybe a little bit bright yellow to bring out the yellow on the cover. And then I've left these kind of long for now. I'm going to attach the beads, trim it up a little, and then I will show you the inside of the book later. But I'm liking this. I like the size. It's a tad bit smaller than what I usually do on the bigger journals. And I think it's got enough space that there's plenty of room to journal in, as well as to use as a smash book and attach any kind of doodads. So when the beads are on and it's all dry, we'll come back and I will show you the completed journal. Thanks. See you in a bit. So I wanted to show you I've completed the journal. I did add beads here, or little charms. This is a cute little owl from Joann's. It's tied on with the end of that wax linen thread from the center signature. And then on the bottom here, hoping you can see the little beads that I tied on. So if we open that up, you can see that it's just an extension of that center signature tie-off. So it's primarily brighter colors, pinks, yellows, greens, oranges, a lot of springy or summery looking colors. It ties in well with this cover that I actually made a while ago it ended up being too small for my signatures. So when I made these signatures, I made sure they were cut down to size, and it fits really nicely in this. It doesn't flail open too much, and there's plenty of room here in between the signatures, as you can see, so that when you want to open this to write in it, there's room. It can press down. It's okay. There's a lot of journaling space. I haven't decorated or embellished the pages a whole lot. Typically, the hard thing to do is to not over embellish it for me, because it is fun to do, and I always feel like there needs to be something on every page. But I left this one simple so that the person who receives it will have plenty of space to add their own things, to use their imagination, and plenty of journaling spot. A lot of more blank type pages. And then of course there's also a nice touch of the fun accent pages that just give the junk journal / smash book its own personality. I'm really happy with this one. I like the mix of the vintage feel pages. I found those at a used book sale. I loved this butterfly packaging paper. Pack of butterfly paper that was themed in butterflies, flowers, feathers, and things like that. I think I picked it up at Joann's. Anyway, so as you can see, it's fairly simply decorated. This is cute. Little blue jay there, since it's a bird theme and butterfly theme journal primarily. Lots of brights. Few subdued. Very cheery prints. So I really liked that pack, and some of the items in here were also gifts from a Happy Mail package I received. And this is just paper clipped in there. Trimming this little thread. I've decided to keep some of these threads just a tad bit longer from the internal sewing. I usually trim them kind of close, but I know sometimes people enjoy kind of that shabby chic look. So what I typically do is just trim them down slightly, so they're not all over the place, but they add that little bit of personality. A little sparkly bric-a-brac there. Sheet music. Really tried to keep with a nature theme with an emphasis on flowers, butterflies, and birds. So there you go. I will probably make mention of this in my Facebook store if you're interested, but I just wanted to primarily show you how that worked with the waxed linen thread. I feel like these signatures are in really securely, and for my junk journaling journey, that's probably been the trickiest thing, is learning how to get those sewn in very snugly so they're tight and they're not going to go anywhere. And I did like this effect. I liked covering that up. And this little guy kind of flips over, so he can dangle there, or he can be on the side. So there you go. Thanks for joining me today, and we'll see you next time. Bye.